But there are two obstacles to us having a right understanding of the doctrine of salvation. One is tradition, and the other is theology. The tradition one, I'll give you an illustration that I've used frequently. There was a woman who cooked a roast for her husband, and he always enjoyed the roast that she would cook, but he asked her, why is it that you always cut the ends off of the roast when you cook the roast? And she said, well, I do that because my mother always did that. You're going to cook a roast, you cut the ends off the roast. And so next time they were with the in-laws, he asked the mother-in-law, well, why, when you cook the roast, why do you cut the ends off when you cook the roast? And the mother-in-law, she says, well, my mother always did that. So finally he gets to the grandmother and he says, listen, my wife, she cooks a roast, she cuts off the ends. Your daughter, my mother-in-law, she cooks a roast, she cuts off the end. And they both say they do it because that's what you always did. And the grandmother looks at him and says, well, my pans were always too small. Some of you will get that on the way home. But the fact is, many of the traditions we follow, we have no idea why, and we can't explain them. And in church, we have traditions around Christianity. So you grow up in the church, and what do? Well, you believe in Jesus, you get baptized, and then you stop drinking, smoking, cursing, and don't have sex outside of marriage, and saved. And so someone asks you, are you a Christian? Yes. Why are you a Christian? Well, because I followed the tradition that I saw at church. I did the things that you're supposed to do in order to become a Christian. Listen to me carefully. Hell will be filled with people who are baptized. Hell will be filled with people who don't drink and don't smoke and don't curse and didn't have sex outside of marriage. There will be millions of people in hell who can make every one of those claims because not one of those things makes you a Christian. Not one. And so there's the traditional barrier. Then there's the theological barrier. And they're interrelated.